called Al Noor Television. And of course, he's senior counsel. Don't mess with him. Ahmednasir Abdullahi is in the house for the entire hour. So start tweeting. His Twitter handle. Mine is at Koinange Jeff. The hashtag we're using tonight, Rogue Justice. Sit back. Assalamu alaikum. Good to see you, man.
Same.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Eid Mubarak.
My pleasure. Eid Mubarak.
Yep.
Yes.
So, before we get to the killings, which were really, really horrible, and we understand there was a lot of torture that happened before the killings, Netanyahu, man, I mean, he comes to town and literally freezes this town. Was that fair?
I mean, this happens every time, you know, one of the leaders from this advanced country comes with their own security details, with their own needs. And Nairobi now looks like a favorite destination. Every 2 weeks we receive one leader.
Yes.
So we better get used to this.
But you know, Obama came and they warned us in advance. They said, you know, Tuesday or whatever day it is, basically it's a holiday. Don't go to work, just call in sick, don't show up. Yesterday, man. Yesterday, Tuesday was a mess.
And even this morning, I mean, this morning was, I mean, the traffic was really bad.
How do you block Uhuru Highway?
I mean, when someone like Netanyahu visits, I mean, I think that's something that we should expect, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
we need to work on that, don't we? We need a helicopter.
Or improve the traffic. I mean, if we had subways and all this kind of modes of transport, I mean, we really have a problem. I mean, whether Netanyahu is here or not, normally Nairobi has a huge traffic problem. But when you cross, you know, a major artery like Uhuru Highway, you compound the problem further.
Yeah.
Yes.
I understand he apologized at the dinner last night at the house.
Yes.
He said, you know, I don't understand what you people are saying. I mean, there was no traffic when I was... I mean, really?
Yes. At least he has gone today, so traffic was still really bad.
Indian Prime Minister's on his way, Modi.
Yes.
Goodness. And then 8,000 people show up for that UNCTAD conference. Nairobi is like the destination, huh?
Yes. I mean, our profile on the international scene has really improved a lot since, you know, Uhuru took over from government.
I was going to ask you, what does that say about this administration?
I mean, they have a good review, foreign review. I mean, people have a very good view about the importance of Nairobi as a center of diplomacy, Kenya as a business destination. So, I mean, it's good for the country. The more visitors we get, I mean, the president for Turkey was here sometime back. I mean,
and they all seem to stay at the Kempinski for some reason.
It's the nearest hotel.
Yeah. What about the lame duck Prime Minister from the UK?
Yes, I thought he was coming.
Yeah, apparently.
Yes. Maybe now he's not coming because, I mean, he's leaving the scene soon.
Yeah.
So, probably planning how to, you know, clear 10 Down Street.
And Brexit.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So, switching gears, and it's a very serious offense. Willie Kimani, your colleague, I guess, you know, in your profession, and his client, Josephat Mwenda, driver, Joseph Mwirori. I mean, what a horrible end to that story. And it's not over yet, by the way, huh?
No, but I mean, Kimani's case is a high profile. I mean, he was a lawyer who was involved. He used to work for IPOA, the Independent Police Oversight Authority.
Yeah.
He has done a lot of investigation on police abuse. He had a lot of dossier on this issue. I mean, that he was a good lawyer, good investigator on these matters. But you see, I mean, extrajudicial killing in Kenya is endemic.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, it's a big problem.
Yeah.
Kenyans, you know, I mean, not very prominent Kenyans, but ordinary Kenyans, you know, Kenyans who should not die, are being killed daily by the Kenyan police. Whether it is in northern Kenya, whether it is in the coast, whether it is in Lamu, whether it is in Nairobi, people are dying, you know, and people are being killed by the police. So, I mean, either the police is rogue, or this, I mean, you know, in a democracy like ours, the civilian authority, the president, the minister, exercise control over the security organs.
Correct.
I mean, they can hire and fire. But when the security forces kill people the way they want and nothing happens, a question arises. I mean, are these guys rogue on their own, or are they doing on behalf of the security or the civilian forces?
Do you think Kimani, do you think Willie had information that was damning to the police?
I have no doubt. I mean, I have no doubt he had a lot of damning information on these extrajudicial killings, on these police accesses, even the police station that was killed or that was burned today. I mean, there is no way civilians can go and burn a police station. I mean, that is an inside job. In my view, they were destroying evidence. You know, that's my view. And the police, you know, I mean, the police in Kenya are rogue, you know. I mean, unfortunately, I mean, they can do anything they want. Nobody's safe. Yes, yes.
I was going to ask you, I mean, I guess the next obvious question is there a team inside the police that goes out and does these things, that goes out and takes people out?
No, but I mean, there is many research by, you know, human rights organizations like Africa Watch, Amnesty International, the Kenyan chapter on the human rights, the ICJ, and on the authority of the former Prime Minister. There is no doubt in the mind of many people that the CID, the Criminal Investigation Directorate, has a special death squad that kills people on a regular basis. And according to, I think, a report released, about 8,000 Kenyans have been killed by this unit in the last 5-6 years.
And these people answer to nobody?
No, of course, they answer to their bosses. They answer to their bosses.
And what they do, they go out and kill people?
Yes, yes, on the instruction of their bosses. That is what the reports have all said. I mean, when you have the Prime Minister of a country says that I'm the Prime Minister of this country, I know how the police operates, and there is a special death squad in the Directorate of the Criminal Investigation Department. Why do you doubt him? Because he knows when he was there, they used to kill people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, are we talking about Flying Squad or Kwekwe or those kinds of, we've heard about these?
No, we don't know the name. The name really doesn't matter. What matters is that within the structure of the Criminal Investigation Directorate, there's a special death squad that kill people on the instruction of their bosses.
The word we were getting from these three, I mean, they were tortured, their genitals were squeezed, they had 14 blows to the head, Willie did, as did Joseph. I mean, it was horrible. And then the arms tied behind their backs.
I mean, brutal, you know, it shows. I mean, the Kenyan police force is normally brutal. Even on an ordinary, when they're on the ordinary beat, they are brutal. But you know, when they are doing things like that, I mean, they get more brutal. And I think it has come into the limelight that way they have dammed the river, they have dammed. I mean, that's their dumping ground. It happens so often. The people who live there say that bodies float almost on a daily basis. It's a crisis. In my view, the only way to solve this is to form a commission of inquiry and a reputable judge, so that there's a proper investigation on how these guys are killed, who is killing them, and who is giving this authority.
Directorate of Criminal Investigation, Dego Mohoro, says they are going to ask, well, they have asked the FBI to assist. Will that help?
But isn't it ridiculous, really, that Mohoro can be entrusted with any investigation of this nature? I mean, it is his directorate that's been implicated. People are saying that this killing is done by his directorate. How can he investigate? I mean, it's silly. You know, the silliness of this country is that people like Mohoro are still entrusted with such weighty mandate. It's totally absurd. He should have resigned. I mean, any respectable man, if you look at the number of killings that are attributed to his police officers, he should have resigned long time ago.
That was my next point. Should he, should Boynet, should Nkaiseri, should they all resign?
I mean, there have been calls for, I mean, people have asked for the call. I don't think, in my view, Kaiseri or Boynet has any reason to resign. I mean, but they need to act. If they don't act on this, people will make the right conclusion that this killing is on their instructions. Yes.
Were you watching TV yesterday? Were you watching when Mohoro was on in court? Because people were surprised that he even showed up.
No, I mean, if he's told to show up, he must show up. And I think he came pursuant to a court order. I mean, the court wanted him to be there. So when you are summoned by the court, you have no option. You must be there.
Yeah.
Yes.
2 weeks. You think anything will come out after the 2 weeks, or are these delaying taxes where tactics?
No, but I mean, how can anything come out of an investigation headed by Mohoro? How? Isn't it his directorate that's been implicated? I mean, probably. I mean, if there's a proper investigation, we will know who gave the order. So I mean, you can't allow the same organ that's being accused of perpetrating this to investigate itself. It's so absurd. And Kenyans, the tragedy about Kenyans is that they think something can come out.
Yeah.
Yes. How many people were killed and nothing has come out? I mean, this is
too many.
Do you know the conviction rate of even when they arrested people? It is zero. I mean, this is a country that is on an autopilot in terms of the rule of law.
Isn't it sad?
Absolutely.
As a senior counsel, isn't it sad?
Absolutely. I mean, how can you have a country where people are not jailed for offenses? How can you have a country where people kill others and they are not even prosecuted?
And the tragic part about all this, Grand Mullah, is the fact that in 2 weeks' time, we'll have forgotten all of this.
Absolutely.
We have a myopic with the memory of a warthog, most of us.
No, I call it actually, it's an episodic reaction. Kenyans reacted to an episode, they forget about it, and then it's business as usual. I can tell you that 2 months down the road or a month down, there will be another killing, there will be another outrage, we will go on. But I think my view is that the buck stops with the president. When there is magnitude, when there is a killing on this scale, systematic, sustained killing on this scale, the buck stops with the president.
What does he do? Does he fire Mahora? Does he get rid of him?
No,
what does he do?
I mean, he must be told, or he must ask who is doing all these killings, and he must take action. And if he doesn't do that, Kenyans will rightly blame him for all this. Yes.
I can't believe. What if Willie was not a prominent lawyer looking for IPOA? What if he wasn't? What if he was just some,
But that happens every day, I mean, there are so many innocent Kenyans that are being killed on a daily basis because they are not high profile, nobody questions. I mean, there is no investigation. I mean, the criminal investigation department really doesn't have the capacity to investigate any crime in Kenya. Zero.
In your opinion, should Mahora go?
Yesterday. Not because I have an issue with him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not really the right guy. I mean, he has no experience in criminal investigation. Everybody knows how he was given the job. His tenure has been disaster. I mean, law and order has gone to the dogs. People are being killed. Petty offenses are not being investigated. I mean, it's a Byzantine. It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy.
You say all this, and one of the reasons I like you, my friend, is because you fear nothing.
It's not really that. It is every Kenyan feels this. Every Kenyan knows that this has, in terms of our police, in terms of our criminal investigation department, I mean, it is lawlessness. I mean, this is the Wild West. Anything can happen. Anything. If someone steals money today from a bank, there's no investigation. Nothing happens.
Yeah.
Yes.
Back in the day when we had the likes of Ignatius Nderi, remember CID boss?
No, of course. I mean, Kenya had very good police commissioners and CID heads. The problem is that the system has collapsed, and everybody knows that. Unfortunately, when we had this police service commission, everybody thought that they will clean the place, and they are doing this vetting where people make jokes about how they have made money.
Yeah.
Police officer saying that he has made millions by escorting some Indian gods.
And they're allowed to do that.
It's a comedy,
They get away with it.
It's a comedy, total comedy. You can't have a police force. And we spend so much money. I think we spend about $2 billion on securities.
Yes.
Yes. I mean,
unaccounted for.
Unaccounted for.
Yeah.
Yes. With zero result. Yes.
Shame. Can we switch gears? Okay, before we switch gears, bottom line, in 2 weeks' time, what do you think will happen?
Nothing. What will happen? Nothing. I mean, I will not miss. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, we need a proper investigation. This AP guys who are on the dock, I don't want to comment about this, but we need to have a proper investigation. Who gave the orders? Did it come from higher officers?
Yeah.
Why did they do it? I mean, but you can't entrust Mahora and his team to do this investigation, and I think that's why they were talking of the FBI getting involved.
Correct.
Yes.
I think there's a lot of pressure from Washington because he may have given some information to some NGOs, some international NGOs. You never know.
No, but one of the things that has really damaged Kenya's reputation is this extrajudicial killing. I mean, Obama raised it with the Kenyan government some time back.
He did.
The American government, one of the biggest concern was this extrajudicial killing. I mean, a lot of people are dying. A lot.
Sure.
People, there have been quite a number of, I think, several hundred Kenyans in remand who are not being taken to court. In various police stations, in various remand. Mombasa and Lamu are very, very notorious situations.
And the further away you are from Nairobi or from the center, the
I mean, Africa is, the peripheries. There's no law and order. But this is, the killings now has come to Nairobi.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you fear sometimes?
Everybody in Kenya fears. Even you fear. There's no security. I mean, it's God who's looking after us.
Yeah, every man for himself and God for us all.
Yes. And look at the money we spend on the security forces. Look at it.
Yeah. I mean, we have CCTVs right outside the hotel.
We spend 4 billion just on cars, hiring police cars. 4 billion shillings. Yes. Yeah. Spending 15 billion on these cameras. So far, it has not solved a single crime, even pickpocketed.
Yeah, but according to your Nairobi Law Monthly, you said it wasn't 15 billion, it was 45 billion.
Yes, it's a scam. I mean, sometimes we waste time talking about this because the powers that be ignore us, they continue, there's no recourse.
They say talk all you want.
Yes.
Ongeni too. Shame. And yet people like Jacob Juma get killed and we move on.
I mean, why doesn't Mahora, for example, share with us the trail of Jacob Juma from his house to Pretoria? There's a theory that the cars that were driving behind him were constantly at a certain distance. Yes. There's also a theory that now the telephone lines, when the police request Safaricom to give you the location of a person, for example, if they ask for where is Ahmed, and Safaricom gives them the location, there's a log, it locks. I mean, there are people on that day who asked for where Juma is, and everybody now has those telephones.
Was he your friend?
Yes, he was. He was my friend and my client. I mean, he was in my office that day,
That same day?
Yes, the same day he was killed.
What time of day did you see him?
I mean, he came over lunchtime, stayed there for an hour.
Was he agitated?
No,
he was okay?
He was okay. He was very okay.
And when you heard the news at 9 p.m. or later,
if you look at his tweet handle, the last tweet he sent was to me, and the last tweet was my reply to him.
What did he ask you? What did he say?
I mean, it was something about some some letter. Someone wrote a letter, I think in Tanzania. So he said this is he made a comment. Then I said it looks like a professional misconduct. That's the last reply on his tweet handle.
That was his last tweet.
Last.
You think we'll ever find his killers?
No, you can't. I mean, the general view in this country is that it's the police that killed him. The general view. Of course, nobody's investigating, but I think the general view is that the police have killed him, and as far as I'm concerned, they killed him for the wrong reason.
Really?
Yes. There was no reason. There is no reason anybody should have had to kill Juma. Nobody. No reason. I mean, he was not in politics. He was not in conflict with anybody. He was not. I mean, there was no reason. Absolutely.
So, Grand Ruler, that brings a fear to me, because if you were killed, or if I were killed, we would mourn for 2 or 3 days, and then we would move on.
That's Kenya for you. I mean, Kenya. The life of a Kenyan is valueless. I mean, we are like cats and dogs. I mean, if you run over a dog, will there be demonstrations?
No, they won't.
We are that valueless. I mean, we are so used, we have degenerated so badly that if a Kenyan, but even our politicians, sometimes a high prominent politician is killed, his tribesmen will mourn and cry one day, that's the end of it.
We move on.
We move on. Because in Kenya, there is no punishment for crime.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good point. Good point. We're going to take a break, come back, switch gears. The Chief Justice, the job that everybody wants, except you. You don't want it?
I've said so many times, I don't want it.
Everybody on Twitter is asking, has he applied for the job?
I want a bigger job.
What, president?
Maybe.
Ooh, somebody say, oh my. The Grand Mullah is on the bench, and he's sparing nobody. Wow. We're going to keep talking, folks. We're going to keep talking. When we come back, it's all about the Chief Justice nomination. A couple of high-profile folks have applied. The Grand Mullah says he'll pass. And other news making headlines these last few days. Keep tweeting at Ahmednasir Law, at Koinange Jeff, the hashtag Rogue Justice. Jeff Koinange live at the Villa Oscar Kempinski takes a break. We'll be back in a moment.